And our opening question for today is, what do you think of when you hear of the social gap between men and women? The social gap disaster here. We are going to break down this little social phenomenon that we are seeing right now. And this is going to be something that you can start to notice when you observe is a little flower on the wall. When you look around and you people watch, look at for this right here, this social gap that we're going to be discussing today. So here's the goal of this one, is to understand the social gap. The social gap is responsible for most of today's relationship and dating problems. This gap creates a heartbreak loop for almost everyone. And when I say almost everyone, I'm saying a majority of the men and a majority of the women get sucked into this social gap, and it becomes basically destruction for most everyone. There is a small group that benefits on this, but it is quite a small group. So first off, guys, what the heck are we talking about? For this specific presentation, we are dissecting the difference in social skills as it relates specifically to things like body language, voice tonality, wordplay skills, manipulation tactics, and overall competence in dealing with the opposite sex or romantic interests. I'm going to kind of sum up all of that, what I just mentioned there: body language, voice tonality, wordplay skills, manipulation tactics, overall competence in that whole arena. I'm going to sum that up as social IQ. So again, the social gap, what is it? In the way that I'm going to relate it here, it's in any romantic or sexual relationship, the overall social IQ should be similar. When there is too much of a gap between the skills, it gets messy. When there's too much of a gap between somebody that has way too much of experience with this whole dating arena, all these social skills that you learn from going on multiple dates and observing and learning all that, when the gap is too far in one person's favor, then bad things can happen. It gets messy, and even more so when you're talking about with women because of hypergamy. This is such a huge problem because if a woman thinks that she has you socially, her hypergamy will automatically light up inside of her and she will look for better. And again, when I say her hypergamy will automatically light up inside her, this is where some women get mad at me, is when they're like, no, I don't do that. No, I don't. It's like, this is subconscious. Just imagine that when a woman subconsciously thinks that she has a higher social IQ than you do, that is when that little hypergamy is that. Remember that She-Hulk that she has to fight? It's going to keep popping up because simplified hypergamy here. One wants a highest status man that she can attain to protect and provide for herself and her children, past or future. So the one that she believes she can attain, she wants the highest status one. Now that's why this gets so incredibly tricky, is that if she believes that she has a guy socially, that is going to put her as, I'm above this guy. And that is, again, why you can say, like, all right, well, this guy could spend his entire life and he has this incredible career. He has all these finances. He has all these other assets going for him. But if her and him sit down together and she knows she can run circles around that guy in this social game, that social IQ, then that's why this is so crazy, because it's like, rationally and logically, the woman won't go, well, look at everything else he's bringing to my life. It's just that hypergamy is going to go, man, I have this guy. And so subconsciously, she will look down upon this man. Even if he has the financial assets, he has these other things in all these other arenas, when she is sitting down one-on-one with you, if she believes she has you, she gets bored, and then her hypergamy is like, well, it was too easy. And if it was too easy, that means I probably could have done better. I could have gotten better with somebody that made me chase a little bit more. And then she looks at the guy she's currently with is some little beta mon, or she doesn't even respect them as much as she knows she should, and she can't even rationalize it. She's like, I don't understand why he seems like the perfect guy. He seems like the perfect boyfriend, the perfect husband, but I just don't feel the spark. So all sorts of that crazy stuff will happen if she believes that she has a higher social IQ than you do. All right, now here's more about this problem, is that this gap is widening. This gap is getting worse. Due to today's dating culture, where technology has allowed more connections between people, most women and some men have unlimited options. Because of how easy it is for women to get dates and sex, her hypergamy inflates her standards. Well, we're adding another layer to that this time. This is why it's not all beneficial to women, because to most women, the average woman has unlimited options. Even though we could say it doesn't mean that she can get any guy she wants, but it means she has unlimited options. That means that she can log on and get matches. Even if she's like, well, this isn't the type of guy I want, she has tons of options, even just the complete average woman these days. But on the flip side of that, there are that small percentage of men. You know, when we say the 80-20, it used to be 20%. It might be smaller now. It might be closer to 10 or 15%. But that small percent of men that has this incredible social IQ, those men also get unlimited options because they also have the same capabilities as these women have. Again, back in the day, these high social IQ men, they would only still have the certain women in their towns to match with or to go on dates with. Just like we always say that this is a problem that women now have, they can match and date all these alphas from all around. Well, for that small minority of, you know, the Chad and Tyrones of the world, this happens to where now they have so many options too that they don't need to settle down. They don't have to commit to anything. So that's why then, right, the only people that come out ahead on this entire new social dilemma we're at are those high socially intelligent men, that small percentage, because they literally have the pick of whatever the heck they want and they choose whether they want to commit or not. So they have this, they're the top of the food chain. Because of a woman's hypergamy, she will always try to attract the highest status man that she thinks she can attain. This means that most women continually aspire for this same exact group of some men. So that is why it's so tilted. The difference, right, is between men and women is, you know, a lot of times the men will go across what they believe, another equal. They'll be happy to date, you know, what they see as a woman that's their equal. They would be happy to date, they'd be happy to date down, someone that they know they're bringing more status to. But we all know that for women, it's not true. For women, they always go for up. They always have to date up. And that's why this whole shift is so lopsided, is because now, since most women have unlimited options, they're all chasing the same high social IQ men, those high status men, but all of them are chasing that small, tiny group of 20% or less than 20% of men. So like this picture we got here, we got the believers here. All these girls would happily share a Justin Bieber. Now, obviously, Justin Bieber is an exaggerated model of this just because he has so much social status and fame and all that other stuff. But in a sense, whoever is the Justin Bieber of your local town gets treated in a similar way to this. All these fangirls all lining up for him because he's high social IQ. And so again, they will fight after, they will compete with 35 different women for this one man, even though there could be a line right next to her of this other guy with nobody in that line. It's like, no, I don't want to go in that line. I'm going to compete with these other 35 women to get this guy. That's who I want, this man. So here's the result of these little shenanigans going on. It's a broken heart cycle. The average woman can easily go on multiple dates per week. She can easily match with lots of men on online dating or apps or whatever, or in her DMs. And she can easily sleep with these men. All she has to do is literally open up her legs. The average woman has a high competence in this social arena. The average woman has a high competence in the social arena because, guys, practice. When I say the average woman can easily go on multiple dates per week, and I've told you guys this many times, I'm talking the most average woman you can think of. She could literally go on multiple dates per week if she wanted to, if she tried. The most average woman. Versus an average guy would have to work pretty dang hard to go on a 1 date per week. The average guy would have to. And so when you think about this over a long period of time, you can start to see why this social gap gets so divided and it continually grows apart. Okay, think about it. Let's talk some video games here for a moment. All right? The compound effect. The compound effect is, you might do the same thing over and over again, but you get compounding results because you're getting better with each day, with each practice. So if you played Call of Duty for 4 hours a day and you constantly practice and experience all the different Call of Duty situations, you knew all of the new maps, you knew where everything was, you knew where enemies were likely to be hiding around certain corners and in certain hot spots because you've been through it. You've been through so many different matches over and over and over and over again. Would you have any problem beating some noob that just got the game and only plays a few hours per month? Would you have absolutely any competition against that noob? You wouldn't, unless they were a prodigy. You would have no competition. You would just smash them over and over again. You would get so bored with yourself, you would have to probably... I remember, guys, I used to be, in a sense, back in the day, not like legit a prodigy of this, but I was like the video game guy in all my friends' groups. And so when I would play with my brothers, because I would play with my buddies and we'd game and game and game, especially like Halo, and I got an addictive personality. So when I get into something, I don't quit and I keep playing. I just love to keep learning and stuff. So it would get to the points where I would practice so much with my friends, or I'd play Xbox Live, that when I would play with my buddies locally or my brothers, they literally wouldn't play with me unless I had to invert my controller, the settings, so that up was down, left was right, and things were backwards, so that when I was aiming, I would have to do everything backwards. They would have to handicap me because it wasn't fun for them, and it wasn't fun, frankly, for me if I didn't have a handicap like that. In the same kind of instance, I got obsessed with ping pong in my middle school, high school days. And it got to the point where I would play anyone that thought they were good at ping pong in my whole high school, and I became the guy in my high school that was the best at ping pong. And then I would get challengers from rival high schools that they would throw me their best ping pong player, and we'd go, and have battles. So it would get to the point where I'd play so much ping pong, and I'm left-handed, that when I would play with my buddies, kind of for fun, I would literally play right-handed, or I would play Oriental style. I would switch it upside down and play like all funky, like the Oriental style they play, to give them some type of competition so it was fun for them and to entertain myself. So in a similar sense of things, when women have matched with hundreds and thousands of men and they've been dating and doing the online dating thing on that, that arena, they've gone on sometimes hundreds or thousands of dates. Think about that. If a guy that has a really hard time getting a girl out on one date, he goes and he shows up on this date and he's super nervous and all that stuff. Well, this girl that he's lining up against, this is her, 3,000, I'm having a hard time saying that word, 3,000th date. So every time he says something and it's like maybe that wasn't a very good smooth conversation, right? To him, he's all nervous and all this stuff. She's been through it so many times that she sees so quickly like, oh, I got this guy. I know how to get a reaction out of him. I know how to control the conversation, move the conversation, right? Because they've had so much practice in that social arena that on an average date with an average guy, that girl, her social IQ, that social gap is so much higher in that realm of things. Now, again, we could argue this, that so maybe there's a guy that his social IQ, like he's a leader at work, so he can lead a meeting. Maybe you could say, well, this girl that I went on a date with, wouldn't know what to do. She couldn't get up in front of a room and lead the meeting. It doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. The social IQ is in that intersexual dynamics, the game. How much game do you have? When you're sitting across the table from her, she's going to be able to tell, how much game you have. It's kind of like, if you have game, you know what game looks like. Like, it takes one to know one type thing. So, yeah, I mean, girls that have the game, whatever, they can tell really, really quickly whether a guy has it or not. And if a guy has game, then all of a sudden they buckle up and they're like, this will be fun because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he likes me. Versus the guy that's like, he shows up on a date, he's all nervous. Oh, my God, he's sweating. You look so beautiful. Oh, my gosh, you look so great. Oh, yeah, wow, you're so cool. Wow, it's so fun getting to know you on on online dating and all that, right? A lot of times, think how easy that is. He starts with something like that, and it seems, oh, he's nice. Oh, in the Disney movies, it works. When I watched The Notebook growing up, that's the way. That's the key to a woman's heart. But at that moment, that girl just goes, oh, wow. It's the beginning of the date, and her entire night, she's already like, this sucks. And now her entire night is, she's like, how long do I pretend like I want to be on this date before I make up an excuse that my stomach hurts? Or before my girlfriend calls me crying saying her boyfriend just broke up with her and I need to go consult her. That's when she goes to the bathroom. She takes out her phone and calls her girlfriend and says, hey, I need you to call me in 15 minutes and make it really believable. Can you give me the fake tears this time? That's what will happen if you show up and she has a higher social IQ than you, or she perceives that she has a higher social IQ than you do. It's the same way as you playing a video game over and over again, and then a girl gets on you, you're going to play against her, and you're like, she's never even picked up an Xbox controller. You just know, you're going to laugh at her because you're like, oh, I know how to do it. You're a master, she's a disaster. Well, that's how a lot of women feel in today's dating game, because they've experienced, and that's the thing, is that a lot of women, again, since it's so easy even for the average woman, all of these women, even the good-looking girls, they can see their not so attractive girlfriends that get action whenever the heck they want. So again, women also have this perceived idea that it's easy for everybody. They have this perceived idea that guys are going on just as many dates as they are. They have this idea in their head that guys are sleeping with, as many women as they are sleeping with men. Because remember, those women are going after the men that do that. Those women are going after those high social IQ men that are doing that. So they have no idea. They have no idea that when they go on a date and they're just like, wow, the dating scene sucks now. All these guys are so awkward and all that. It's like they don't realize that they're just masters because they've gone on 3 million dates. And they just don't understand that that's out of the reality of most average men. Don't forget, subscribe. Like, comment, share the video. Definitely subscribe.